Hello, everybody. It's been a while, but it's me, Levi. I'm back. It's the NW Sportscast. So first, I just want to get into something really quick. I know we've been gone for a while, but me and Drew are planning on making a return. Things are going to be looking a little bit different. It's been a while, like I said. We are going to college. I'm going to San Diego. Drew's going to Syracuse. So there might be kind of more of a rebranding of the show coming up here. So stay tuned for that, but it's going to be lots of good stuff. We're going to get the content coming back at you because we have both missed this so much. Senior year of high school was super busy for us both, but we'll have another video talking about all of that. But anyways, we're glad to be back. But anyways, there's some big news about the Seattle Mariners. Paul Sewald, our closer for the past year and a half, and one of our best relievers for the past 2 seasons, is out of here. He has been traded to the Arizona Diamondbacks right after we played the Diamondbacks. So I guess they watched him and they said, we need to get this guy on our team. Paul Sewald, man, he was a good player. So very briefly, what did he give us in his time in Seattle, right? What did Paul Sewald do for the Mariners that warranted this trade? So comes over, minor league free agent. He was on the Mets in 2020, 2019. He was not very good. He had a career ERA of not very good with the Mets. It was like 4 or 5 something. And he had thrown quite a few games. He'd thrown like over 100 games with the Mets, but just never got the job done. He was never able to really be a good pitcher for them. I'm not sure if they really thought he would, but he comes over to Seattle, 2021, 3.06 ERA, 62 games. He pitches 64 innings. He strikes out 104 batters. So 104 batters in 64 innings, that's really good. That's like almost 2 strikeouts an inning that he averaged. So he struck out a lot of guys. That season, he had 11 saves, and I believe he had quite a few holds there as well. 11 saves, and it doesn't show how many holds, but he had a lot of holds that season. And he was our setup man, right? Because Drew Steckenrider was our closer, and Sewald was our setup man. Because first Graveman was the closer, and Steckenrider and Sewald were both setup men. And then we got rid of Graveman, and then Steckenrider became the closer, and Sewald became the setup man. And those 3 were a lights-out trio for about 3 months there. When we had Graveman, Steck, and Sewald, and they were all cooking, that was like the pinnacle. And we had Diego Castillo, who was cooking. I mean, that was an excellent bullpen. Casey Sadler that year had like a 20-game scoreless streak. We had Chargois. I'm just kind of reminiscing right now, but that was and Eric Swanson. We had Eric Swanson too that year. We had maybe the best bullpen in the league in 2021. And then we obviously traded away Graveman. I guess, did we trade? Yeah, we traded away Graveman and we got Castillo. So that was what the trade was. But we had Hector Santiago in the bullpen that year. I mean, it was incredible. All the S guys, Sewald, Steckenrider, Santiago, Sadler, everyone was there. And it was a great season for the Mariners bullpen. But, alas, we lost a bunch of those guys. 2022, Sewald comes back, and all of a sudden, Drew Steckenrider sucks, so Sewald's now the closer, and what does he do? 2.67 ERA, 5-4 record. By the way, he went 10-3 in 2021. It is so rare to see a relief pitcher with 10 wins, but that just goes to show what the Mariners season was like in 2021. All those come from behind wins. But anyways, he's even better in 2022. 2.67 ERA, 65 games. He has 20 saves, 64 innings, and he strikes out, this time only 72 strikeouts, but still good season. His FIP went way up, though. So his FIP went from 308 to 388. His ERA gets better, but his FIP got worse. So that goes to show maybe he's not as good as we think he is. By the way, if you're wondering, okay, I guess they don't have blown saves as a stat here either. I wish you could see blown saves. I guess they don't want to show that. And then 2023, this season, 45 games, 2.93 ERA, 3-1 record, 21 saves, which I believe is a top 10 in the league. He struck out 60 guys in 43 innings. So his strikeout totals are going down, This is his best FIP, 298 FIP. So his FIP matches almost perfectly with his ERA. So he's been dominant. He's been our closer since about like half of this year and most of last year. And he's been our best. He's been essentially our best reliever since 2021, since May of 2021 when we called him up. And now he's gone. Where does he go? The Diamondbacks. Who do they give us? We've got Dominic Canzone, he's their number 19 prospect. He's an outfielder. He's listed actually as a DH, which worries me already because right off the bat, young outfielder who sucks at defense, that screams red flags. But let's look at his minor leagues, and he has good stats in the minors. He career totals, he's got 91 home runs, 320 batting average, 915 OPS. This season in AAA, he had a 1.065 OPS with 16 home runs, 2 steals, 354 batting average. So Canzone was crushing the ball in AAA. He got called up to the majors, and he hasn't been good. 15 games, 2 doubles, 1 home run, 8 runs batted in, 237 batting average, 661 OPS. But he's going to get better, I presume. So yeah, good numbers all throughout, right? Good numbers in AA last year. Last year he had 400 in AA in 15 games. And in AAA last year he hit 284 in AAA last year. But still with an 838 OPS. He's a good player. He puts up good numbers in the minor leagues. My fear, though, is that, A, defensively, I'm already worried because he's listed as a DH, which makes me think that this could be a guy who can't play defense, like another Kyle Lewis. And secondly, what worries me is that he's not supposed to be good. Like, he's ranked number 19. That doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence. And I know guys sometimes can come out of nowhere. But, like, Cade Marlowe for us is ranked 16. And Canzone is ranked 19 for them. So, obviously, it's not all apples to apples, right? Players get ranked wherever they're going to get ranked. Taylor Trammell was once ranked as our third best prospect behind Julio. It was Julio, Kirby, and Trammell at one point. And we've seen how Trammell has worked out. So, I mean, take it for what's granted, but if this is going to be another Cade Marlowe type of player, that's just not what we need right now. We don't need another Cade Marlowe. But Canzone, he is going to probably come up and join the majors right away, I assume. My guess is that we're probably going to send Cade Marlowe down and bring in Canzone right away. We also, by the way, got rid of A.J. Pollock. We traded him to the Giants for a player to be named later. So Pollock's gone. He was already injured. I wonder if we're actually maybe going to trade Trammell, maybe, or if Canzone is going to be the because either Canzone is coming in to replace Marlowe, or he's coming in to replace Trammell, or is he coming in to replace Teoscar? Because the Mariners, remember, tomorrow. This is not usually how it is, but they can still make trades tomorrow until I believe 12:30. So. And usually I think the deadline is the 31st, but this year the deadline is on August 1st. Tomorrow they can still make trades. So are the Mariners planning to get rid of Teoscar as well? Maybe Canzone is going to slot in right field. And you get a situation where, I mean, that would be such a downgrade of an outfield. Early going into the season, we got Julio, we've got Kelenic, we've got Pollock, who was coming off of a couple good seasons, and we've got Teoscar, and now we've got, like, Julio, and then it's Canzone and Trammell and Marlowe. That's just really sad to see that. And Dylan Moore. There's your outfield right there. But I guess that's the direction we want to go in. So next guy we bring in is Josh Rojas. This name might be more familiar. Josh Rojas. And it's a depth move. I'm not sure if I like it. I mean, look, this is his stats again. 59. So 2021, he was good. 2021, 139 games. He hits 11 home runs, 32 doubles, 3 triples, 9 stolen bases, 44 runs batted in. He scored 69 runs. He hit 264, 341 on base percentage, 752 OPS. So he was good in 2021. He was equally good. He was I guess, kind of much better in 2022. 2022, he goes less games, 125 games, till 25 doubles, 9 home runs, so close around there. More runs batted in, 56. Way more steals. He got 23 steals last year. He had 269, 349 on base percentage, 391 slugging, combines for a 739 OPS and a 112 OPS plus. And in the last 2 seasons, 0.8 WAR in 2021. Last year, 3.2 WAR. So last year he was a serviceable starting second baseman. And then this year, Josh Rojas turns into being bad. This year he has a 589 OPS. He's hitting 228 with a 292 on base percentage, 6 stolen bases, 0 home runs, 13 doubles, 23 runs, 26 runs batted in, and that is in 60 games. So essentially, Josh Rojas has roughly the same stats as Caballero, a little bit worse. He's a second baseman. He's played the same amount of games as both Caballero and Wong. He is slightly worse than Caballero, and he's slightly better than Wong. So as far as this goes, he's probably going to join the major league team. My guess is either we're going to DFA Wong or we're going to get rid of Dylan Moore, maybe. I would be fine with either of those, although I kind of like the way Demo's been playing right now. You know I love Demo. I'm a big Demo fan. So maybe we keep. I don't know what Josh Rojas. Maybe this is gonna be. Maybe there's another guy getting traded tomorrow. Maybe we're gonna trade. I kind of hope we hang on to Caballero. I would be A-okay getting rid of Wong. But maybe we're trading Ty France tomorrow. Maybe we're trading Suarez. Maybe, who knows? Who knows what's going to go down later on. But the third guy we get, and this guy is interesting too. The third guy we get is a guy named Ryan Bliss. Ryan Bliss, I really hadn't heard much about Ryan Bliss. How old is this guy? 23 years old. He is 5'6". So Altuve is, I believe, also 5'6", the same height as Altuve. Again, he's a second baseman, shortstop. He's also a relief pitcher, which is interesting to me. But let's look at the, and he did play in the Futures game. He played in the Futures game this year. He is the 29th rated prospect for Arizona, although supposedly he was set to make a big jump. So we'll see where next week they're going to re-rank all the prospects. So we'll see where both of these guys end up being ranked for the Mariners. But here's Ryan Bliss's stats. We can see Double-A this year, 68 games. He hit 12 home runs, 25 doubles, 30 stolen bases, 358 batting average, and a 1.008 OPS. So he had a really good season in Double-A. He's only played 13 games in Triple-A, so he's going to come up here and join the Rainiers, is my guess. 13 games in Triple-A. And he is hitting 196 with a 631 OPS, just 1 home run, 5 steals, and 2 doubles. So he was really good in Double-A. He's been terrible in Triple-A so far. But he plays good defense. He's really fast, and supposedly he's making a big climb. Let's look at his pitching stats. What's interesting about his pitching stats, okay, so he doesn't have any pitching stats. He hasn't pitched since college. So I'm not sure why they're listing him as a relief pitcher. But I guess if we need a reliever, maybe he's like an emergency reliever. So he's not a two-way player. We can put that one to rest. It would be cool if it was like a second baseman who can also come in to relief pitch. Like, wouldn't that be neat? But maybe someday. But anyways, that's what 3 guys we get. I'm excited mostly, I think, for Canzone. I think he might have a chance to turn into like a serviceable 4th outfielder, which, I mean, I know that's not a lot to love, but if he can be if Canzone can be a better version of Trammell, and if Bliss can turn into a similar guy, just like a Sam Haggerty, who can come in, play multiple positions, steal some bases, and hit 250, that's probably what we're going to get out of this trade. So I guess the essential question is, was it worth it to trade a year and a half of a dominant closer for 2 role players? One of them for 3 role players. 3 role players, one of them old, one of them young, one of them entering his prime. But you essentially traded a dominant closer for 3 role players. Personally, I don't think it was worth it. I feel like when it's all said and done, Paul Sewald brings more to this team than these three guys are going to bring. And this is a team that has played 16-9 in July. We've been good in July. We were going into July, we were 4 under 500. Now we are 3 over. So we have 7 games better than 500 in the month of July. We're 5.5 out of the division, 4 back of the wild card, and playing well. We've won 6 out of our last 8 series and split 1 of them. So we've only lost 1 of our last 8 series, and all 8 of those series were against winning teams. So we're playing our best baseball against some good competition here. And apparently, instead, we're going to trade our closer, and we're going to get some role players. We've done this before. Like, we know how this plans out. Remember when there was Graveman for Toro? And what was Toro? He was a role player. And what did Toro do for us? Pretty much nothing, right? Like, I don't feel like we need more role players. If we're going to make trades, trade for guys who are either stars or future stars. Or at least starters. Like, forget role player. None of these guys are starters. I don't know. And we know we need a second baseman. And I guess Josh Rojas is the answer. Like, Josh Rojas has a 583 OPS this year. Jose Caballero, the Colton Wong is like 420. Colton Wong's terrible. But Caballero, his OPS this year is 682. So Caballero has over 100 points better OPS. Caballero has 1.7 WAR. Josh Rojas has negative 0.4. So we traded for a second baseman, but we traded for one that's worse than our current second baseman. And we traded for a guy who could potentially be our utility guy in the future, and a guy who might be good enough to be a fourth outfielder. That's who we traded. Like, it's honestly laughable. It's honestly laughable. But how could you not expect it? How could you not come to expect it from the Seattle Mariners? That's how we're going to close this out. This is Jerry Dipoto. This is what the Mariners are. We're a middle-of-the-road team, and we're going to consistently trade our good players for guys who might be role players in the future. So, here's to hoping that... I mean, at this point, you might as well trade Teoscar. Right? At this point, I would look into trading some of your other bullpen guys too. I mean, if we're not trying to win this year, we have Spire, Topa, Saucedo, 3 guys who I don't think are going to ever be as good as they are this year. Might as well. Right? Might as well get rid of them too. I would say anyone whose name isn't Munoz and Brash in the bullpen, whoever, get rid of them. Trade them for prospects. I don't care. Right? I mean, at this point, what's the big deal? You've already shown that you're not trying to compete anymore by trading Sewald. So, at this point, Topa, Saucedo, Spear, and I think there's a 4th one. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's just the 3 of them. Because then we have Brash, we have Campbell, Munoz. So maybe it's the 3. The 3 of those guys, 3 guys who came out of nowhere and have been good, but are they ever going to be this good again? I highly doubt it. So you might as well cut your losses and trade those guys, and we can just do Munoz, Brash, and 6 rookies in the bullpen. Might as well. Why not? You have a bunch of prospects. Juan Then, Devin Sweet, Prelander Baroa, Ty Adcock, Isaiah Campbell. There you go. There's 5 right there. Bunch of guys down in the minor leagues who are considered prospects as bullpen. I mean, bullpen prospects, you never know. Bullpen prospects come up and be really good because they never rank relievers high in the prospect rankings because they're already considered to be not as valuable as starters. So I say trade them all keep Munoz and Brash, because those are your future, hopefully your future like closer type guys, and then let the kids play and get them some experience, because apparently if we're trying to win next year, and then you trade Teoscar too, so you can trade your 3 more relievers, trade Teoscar, there you go, there's 4 more guys you can trade for prospects, and all of a sudden this trade deadline could actually be meaningfully building for the future. Instead of getting rid of Pollock and a really good elite closer and getting some future role players, you can actually make it a story of, we're going to sell some pieces that we think it's okay to get rid of, and we're going to meaningfully build for the future by bringing in a decent amount of guys who can potentially help us compete later on. But only one trade, that just doesn't make any sense. So at this point, you might as well, because you've already shown you're not interested in winning this year, which is fine. I mean, as much as it would be nice to see the Mariners in the playoffs, and as much as we are playing good baseball, our playoff chances are pretty low. So we play the Red Sox tonight. We'll see how the team does. But anyways, this is Levi out. Go Mariners.